What's up YouTube? For tonight's video with a full Kings Pokemon team. 10 years ago I did this video. It was actually my second theme team ever with a series I created, and I thought it'd be a pretty cool idea to do this again. Had some nice suggestions here, so I thought I'd remake this team completely. There's actually a couple of new Pokemon, and I actually thought of a really cool idea. Being a King team, this time I was going to give every one of the Pokemon a King's Rock as an item. So I had some really good battles, and I hope you will enjoy. If you want to see the original video, I'll leave it in the description as a link. Check it out there. Alright, first Pokemon battle here. This one is against Lucas. This is a random battle on the Poke Portal. We have got a Sableye lead. Now, my first Pokemon is going to be Slaking. This Slaking set was absolutely terrible, but it was pretty fun to use. So we've got Fury Swipes, Drain Punch, Thunder Wave, and Metronome. All of my Pokemon have got Stellar as well, because Stellar's actually like a King's Crown, right? So I thought that really suited it. So Sableye's going to go for a knockoff here, getting rid of my King's Rock, which is a bit unfortunate. People, if you like the videos, and if you want to support the channel, please leave a like there. Tell me what your favorite King Pokemon is below, or just give me a comment there. I always like to read them over my breakfast. It can be about anything in the video or anything at all. Thank you so much for watching. Alright, we have Giraffary coming on. Not Giraffary, Farigiraf coming in. I'm going to unload the full load, and that's going to do some pretty good damage onto our opponent here. So we got a special Kingambit, special King Toilet, only on PIMPNITE's channel here. This one is max health and max special attack, modest nature. I've got Dark Pulse, Air Slash, Steel Beam, and Focus Miss. This is a Supreme Overlord ability as well, and we got some really good damage. Unfortunately, the opponent is actually going to go for a Terra Fighting and take out my Kingambit, but still pretty good effort there, and I actually got them to use their Terra, which was kind of nice as well. Next Pokemon is Slowking Gala, probably one of my better sets. This one has got Trick Room, Nasty Plot, Sludge Bomb, and Water Pulse. I gave it Water Pulse because I've got Stellar, and with the Stellar boost, I thought it'd be interesting to have a water move and get that, you know, extra 1.2 times boost. So I'm going to go for Sludge Bomb here. The opponent tried to set up Calm Mind, but it simply wasn't enough to actually live that. I think that was pretty close though. That's got some pretty decent bulk about it, but a pretty good effort so far. Next Pokemon is Sableye. It is paralyzed, and I know that even with the resisted Sludge Bomb, it's going to do a lot of damage. And I was thinking, even if I go for a knockoff, I'm going to be able to tank that reasonably well. So I was thinking about this, like, let's go for a Nasty Plot. Then they swapped. So maybe they predicted me to swap into something else there, and then they went into Lycanroc. So they've got some sort of ground type move coming my way, or something along those lines, right? So I've got a, I've got Nasty Plot, really good, +2 in special attack. I've got Water Pulse. They're setting up the Stealth Rocks here. So Stealth Rocks is not too much of an issue at all, because Slowking Gala, this one does have Regenerator as the ability. So we got the Water Pulse landing, and of course it's got a Focus Sash. I kind of saw that one coming. So we got that Focus Sash, no confusion unfortunately. I can go for any move here. I was like, well, I can go for Sludge Bomb even if they try and swap. Then they had Endeavor. I was like, good play there. Very nice play with Endeavor, putting me on 1 health. However, I have got my Regenerator ability, so I actually technically can swap it out, get the health back, and bring it back in, and not even faint to the Stealth Rocks, right? But that was sort of on my mind what I could do there. So we got the Haxorus coming in here. Now Haxorus obviously is going to be able to take me out. I was thinking, I don't think it's worth sacking the Slowking here, but I was like, you know what, I'll go for Trick Room anyway. Scale Shot misses, so that was a really big miss there for the opponent, not taking out my Slowking, but in the end, it actually didn't really matter at all, right, as you'll get to see. So Haxorus is going to be swapping out now that I've got Trick Room up, and in comes the Sableye. Now, Sableye is not going to be able to take this very well because its special defense is garbage, even on resisted attacks, so Slowking is easily going to dispense of that. So that's pretty good getting rid of that Pokemon. It wasn't that much of a threat anyway, you know, it's also being paralyzed too. Now, speaking of threats, we have a Honchkrow coming in, so I didn't want to give them a free Moxie, but I was thinking here, I've got the Trick Room up, let's get the Regenerator going, right? I've got a good idea, so I think they might just use Sucker Punch, so we'll go into Kingdra. So on the swap here, the Honchkrow goes for the Sucker Punch here, which is good. Predictable, right? I knew they were going to do it. So I take some Stealth Rock damage. This Kingdra is a troll set. It's got Scummy Water, Dragon Breath, right? So it's a terrible set. It's not going to do a lot of damage. Then they unloaded the Acrobatics, and that was doing a ton of damage. Then the Trick Room run out. So I was like, uh-oh, this is bad. I don't really have a Pokemon to swap into. So Kingdra is going to get dropped, and of course the Honchkrow is going to get a Moxie, which is very, very bad. That was Rain Dance, and Smokescreen, and Dragon Breath, and we have Max Health and Max Defense, Calm Nature. So I'm going to go into Slaking. Slaking is a pretty beastie Pokemon. It's quite tanky. And I'm thinking if I can take this out with a Stellar Fury swipes, it'll be really, really good, right? It is Jolly Nature, and it is Max Attack. And this Pokemon is actually pretty fast. It's got 100 base speed. The only bad thing about it, as you know, is the Truant ability. So I was thinking, I don't have loaded dice, but if I can land 3 of them, it should be enough. So there's the first one. Got that big Fury swipe. So there's the second one, and you wouldn't read about it. It only landed twice. I'm like, oh no. So they got a very, very lucky play there. So making up for my that scale shot miss they had. So they definitely got a lucky break there because they're going to get a free Moxie. Another one. So it's like, oh, I don't know about this. So like, can I get back in this game or not? Right. So Slaking's down. I didn't want to swap in another Pokemon, and they're going to get a Moxie. So I'm thinking, all right, we'll go into Walking Wake. I know that I should be able to outspeed them here, but Sucker Punch is going to be kind of nasty. So this is a physical set. I like this as well for Walking Wake. Here it comes, and I lived it only just. So Dragon Claw is going to be enough to take out the Crow, which is good. So that was a very, very threatening Pokemon. Any Pokemon with Moxie ability that has some reasonable speed and offense to it is always a threat. This is interesting. Very, very important move here. So I couldn't do much. I was like, I'll go for Liquidation. Then the Gardevoir outsped me. So that told me straight away the Gardevoir had a Choice Scarf. So I was like, aha. So I can't swap in my Slowking Gala. Let's go into normal Slowking. They've got to make a choice here. They either go for Psychic or swap. I was actually hoping that they probably go for a swap here. This is our own tempo set. It's a Belly Drum Slowking PIMPNITE special. And they stayed in to get damage. I was like, oh, dang it. So it didn't do much, right? No special defense drop, but I got the Trick Room up. So I was thinking, do I go for the huge risk here of going for Belly Drum, or do I just go for like 2 liquidations and finish them? I was like, let's risk it. So we're going to risk it for the biscuit here. Getting the Belly Drum for only 37 health left. It didn't do a lot of damage to me to begin with. I was hoping I could just narrowly live this, and Slowking does on 3 health very, very narrowly. So now I can go for Liquidation and finish off the Gardevoir. The last Pokemon is the Haxorus we've seen from before. I've got Fling and I've got Kingdra to 100% flinch, but I was thinking, should I go for this or not, or should I just finish it off with Liquidation? Because I don't want to play any games here with Trick Room only being up for a certain amount of time. So I did think about going for Fling here, but I decided in the end to go for Liquidation, and that is finishing off the Haxorus. And Slowking in the back, still alive there, but a great battle. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you, Lucas, for the battle if you ever see this video. That was interesting. We both got some game-changing luck there. So next battle here, this was a random battle on the Poke Portal. I don't know what the trainer's name is, but anyone that does translate the trainer names, I always appreciate that in the comment section. So we're going to Arceus Psychic here, and it actually surprised me a little bit with a Flare ability. So that's doing some pretty good damage to my King Toilet. Now, King Toilet is going to go for a Dank Pulse. This actually works pretty well under the Trick Room, but in this case, I was thinking I might just sack it off and let the recall of the Flare Blitz take out the Archers, or at least put it on a low amount of health, right? So that's the end of Kingambit. It's not the strongest Pokemon on my team, so I wasn't too worried. So I thought this might be a good opportunity here to set up Trick Room and to set up Belly Drum. I might be able to do the same thing again. And before setting up the Trick Room, I was like, let's go for Belly Drum first, right? That way I can extend the time I get out of it, right? So they went for Air Slash, didn't do a lot of damage. And I was thinking, the only bad thing is if I got flinched here. So I went for Trick Room this turn. I absolutely had to. They're going to unload a Judgment, but Judgment's going to actually be resisted, and Slowking lives. So once again, the opponent didn't really have anything super powerful to hit me with, and I was able to get a Trick Room and a Belly Drum up. So now we're ready to roll. We got 4 turns of Trick Room to unload on the opponent. No extreme speed, thank goodness. And I didn't think they would, but I had they may have I thought there was a chance they had it, but I sort of just took the risk anyway. So Arceus is down, which is nice. Next Pokemon is going to be Regidrago. So Regidrago is, I was thinking here, do I go for the Stellar Fling? Because, you know, when you got a King's Rock, right, as an item, all of my Pokemon have got them. When you go for Fling and you fling it, you automatically 100% flinch the opponent. So that could work my way if I feel like I'm not going to get a feint right. And also Stellar will give me an additional 1.2 times boost on top of this move too. So +6 Fling, King's Rock, only on PIMPNITE's channel with the Stellar. It did donkeys, but I got that flinch right. This thing actually has a lot of health, so I actually expected it to badly live in Liquidation. So I can follow that up now with a Liquidation, and that's going to be hitting it very, very hard and taking it out. So that was a good combination there. I actually managed to take that out in one shot. So things are going very smoothly right now. I've got 2 turns left on the Trick Room too. Next Pokemon is going to be Mewtwo. It is hovering. So Mewtwo is definitely going to get dropped by Liquidation. Unfortunately, I don't have any more item to fling, so I can't use fling anymore because I've got no item to fling. It will say failed. And Mewtwo goes down like a sack of potatoes. So everything is going absolutely wonderful. We're getting this physical Slowking sweep. Now, the next Pokemon to come in is going to be Zacian. So Zacian, as you can obviously guess, is a very threatening Pokemon. The Trick Room's gone, and they're going to finish me interesting with Wild Charge. So Wild Charge is at least going to do some recall to them. So I'm like, how am I going to get back into this battle? So what I'm thinking here is I'll go into Kingdra and see if I can live this. See if they've got Play Rough or not, right? Usually it typically does, but I want to see because I've got Wild Charge. So generally it's got Sword Dance, Behemoth Blades, you know, like Crunch or Sacred Sword, or Play Rough. You know, generally those moves are not Wild Charge, but generally will have those other moves. So I was kind of curious what move weren't they using. So here comes the little Timmy Terra, and then it unloads a Moonblast. I'm like, oh, I didn't expect that one. I expected to Play Rough. So I still lived it, but they got a special attack drop. So I'm like, all right, we'll go for Rain Dance here. So this Kingdra is max health and max defense, and it's got Swift Swim. So I can go fast, be bulky, and try and get some accuracy drops and maybe flinches and stuff like that. Of course, Muddy Water misses on the very first go, and Zacian is going to be able to take me out with a Moonblast. So things aren't looking too good now. I control the battle at the start, and then I've sort of lost control with this Zacian. I have to take this thing out, right? I've got to get rid of it. So I thought, all right, we'll go into Slowking Gala. What are they going to do? Moonblast? So I know they've got Behemoth Blade. Obviously, they've got Moonblast. Here it comes. Here's the Behemoth Blade. Slowking Gala actually lives that one really, really well. I've got max health though, and I'm able to set up the Trick Room here. Slowking Gala was just max health and quiet nature, so they were all quiet and 0 IVs for, you know, the Trick Room and stuff. So my Sludge Bomb did a heap of damage, plus I actually got a poison too, which is really cool. So that is going to be fainting regardless. And I got a flinch on Kingdra on the Sludge Bomb, which is like absurdly lucky, because that means my Slowking is going to stay alive and I can finish him off with a Disrespect Water Pulse. However, they saltily swapped out there. They wanted to preserve the little Timmy Zacian, and then they went into a Mew, and I was amused. So I'm going to go for the Water Pulse in the rain, and Mew is, well, it's not really going to be in pain. But I got a Confusion, which is really, really good. So things are going kind of nice now. So the rain is going to stop. I'm not going to probably do a lot of damage with Water Pulse. So I thought, well, I guess I can go for Sludge Bomb here. And even if I do poison, you know, it's not going to affect me, right? Because I'm a poison type. So Sludge Bomb is going to hit there, and it did alright damage. It wasn't too bad. And then Mew actually goes for Draco Meteor, and it misses. And after that miss, little Timmy's switch got snapped in half like a Tim Tam. Anyway, that is the end of the first battle. The second battle, a beautiful salty rage quit there. If you enjoyed the videos and so far and the battles, people, hit that like button. A beautiful, beautiful salty rage quit there. All right, next battle here. I'm not sure my opponent's name. We've got a Wug Trio though. Nice to see Wug Trio. Now, I actually led with Slaking because I smelled a rat. I was like, this thing's probably got to focus actually. How about we try and get around that with Fury Swipes? And of course, this time Fury Swipes actually lands 3 times in a row, which is pretty good because you know, I landed it so many times with 2. It was like getting like super frustrating, right? I mean, I could have put loaded dice in there. I know that already, but I wanted to use Kingdra. I thought it'd be more of a fun and challenge. So in comes the Rayquaza. I'm gonna be a sitting duck there, or a sitting ape. Or sorry, it's a gorilla, right? Slaking's a gorilla. And I went into Kingambit because I expected like a Dragon Ascent, right? So here comes the Dragon Ascent from the Rayquaza. And King Toilet's going to live that one pretty easily. No sweat at all. So they've also dropped their defenses, which is good. So that means I'm going to do a bit more damage. And I've got Steel Beam. So I thought, let's go for Steel Beam. Let's see what they can do. So they went for Dragon Pulse. They really didn't have a lot to hit me with. And I went for Steel Beam here. Since there wasn't any Pokemon fainted, I didn't get any boost on with my ability, like Supreme Overlord. So I was like, oh, well, it's fine. I did some good damage there. Let's see if I can use it a little bit later under Trick Room or something, right? So I swapped it out, and I went back into Slaking, because I knew that Slaking would be able to at least live one move outside of like a nasty crit. Here comes Dragon Pulse, and I lived that pretty good. So I know I can outspeed it. I've got Drain Punch and Fury Swipes. Fury Swipes does not miss, which is good. That's another thing about Fury Swipes. It's a pretty terrible move because it can miss. Like moves like Tail Slap are a lot better. So 2 Pokemon down, and then we got Articuno. So I've got, all right, yeah, I don't want to lose this Slaking. Let's swap it out. How about I go into something like Slowking? We might be able to get that, you know, that Trick Room going up again, and but this could be a good opportunity, right? Ice moves that may not do a lot of damage. However, they unloaded a Sheer Cold, and it landed on the very, very first turn. So I'm like, uh-oh, this is very... I got to get them back right. They're making me salty. So that's 1 Pokemon down. This could be a threat, though. So I'm bringing in Slowking Gala. I need to get the speed control back, and I want to see if I can set up on them. So they're going to go for Sheer Cold again. Of course, they're spamming it, and it missed, which is good. But that doesn't mean it's not going to hit very, very soon. So I've got Trick Room up. They only have a 30% chance to actually land it. So I did a swap here, and I went into Kingambit. I thought, you know what? It should miss, and then I'll finish them with a Supreme Overlord Steel Beam, which will definitely take them out with Modest Nature. And then they went for a Blizzard, and it landed. I was like, are you out of your mind? They're so lucky. So there we go. You know, that's now 70% actually. That was a shaky move to go for there as well. So now I'm like, I had to take this thing out. I know they're going to start spamming Sheer Cold again, or are they going to go for Blizzard? I was like, let's go for Nasty Plot. I've got to take this thing out. It's way too much for a threat, right? So now they're going for Blizzard. They're going to land this time, and it doesn't do a lot of damage there. It's about a 3-hit KO, but I need to take it out, and I got to get some damage in. So +2 Sludge Bomb, good damage there, plus the poison. So that means it is going to eventually faint, which is good. I'm just hoping that Sheer Cold doesn't land again, and this time it does not, which is cool. So, pardon the pun there. So Articuno is going to faint on the very next turn. So I thought, do I be a real smarty and go for Nasty Plot here and wait for them to actually faint to poison, or do I just finish them off? Like, you know what? I'm going to finish them off, because the time you go for Nasty Plot is the time they land the Sheer Cold, right? It's happened to me so many times before, right? So half the team's down. In comes Moltres. They got them legendary birds. I've got Sludge Bomb at +2 and Water Pulse, and they're going to go for an Overheat. They're going to flap their wings, and Overheat actually doesn't faint me, which is kind of good there, because that's going to allow me to get a Trick Room up, which is really cool. So we got the Trick Room up there on the Moltres, and this way I can actually get the outspeed now. So I've got 1 Trick Room left due to all the pressures. I thought, how about we go for a Stellar Slowking? Get that big crown on our head and go for it, right? I just thought it was a great idea, go for Stellar and all the Pokemon plus Kingdra. I thought it suited the theme very nice. All right, so we got that +2, an initial boost with Water Pulse up there, and I thought, I'm good here. We should be able to take this out, right? And Moltres gets dropped, so this is excellent. So the 4th Pokemon is now down. I've got a pretty commanding lead at the moment, and I've got Trick Room still going. All right, so we've got the Taurus coming in here, a Taurus Paldea. I've got Sludge Bomb. That's going to do a lot with the Stellar boost as well. And, you know, at +2 is going to do heaps, and that took it out. So I'm like, great, you know, special defense isn't really all that good either. Might be a bit different story if it was a physical attacker, but they're down to their last Pokemon, which was Magmortar. I was like, all right, well, I guess I could go for a Water Pulse here. Let's do it. Then they're going to go for a Terror themselves. So I'm thinking, all right, I wonder what they're going to go into. Typically, it's Grass, but they had Poison. They had a Fairy type, right? So I'm like, okay, that's interesting, a Fairy type. Water Pulse does a lot of damage, but it doesn't take them out. Then they had Psychic. So I sort of guessed Psychic. That wasn't much of a surprise. Magmortar has a kind of a shallowish special move pool. That's, Psychic's normally a filler move you use on on the Magmortar. Normally it's like Fire Blast, Flamethrower, Focus Miss, and Psychic, those sort of things. So I'm bringing Slaking in. I've got Thunder Wave. So I was like, let's go for that. Try and slow it down a little bit. Then they had Focus Miss, right? I wasn't sure if they had Focus Miss or not, but I found out the hard way that they did. So I'm like, all right, I've got 2 Pokeball left. The Trick Room's gone. Let's go into Kingdra. I won't be able to use any of my Dragon Breath, but I can use Muddy Water, right? Let's use that. I haven't seen any fairy moves yet. I don't know if they've got Terra Blast, and of course Muddy Water misses, and then they go for the Terra Blast. I'm like, I should be able to live this attack, right? I should, because I've got max health. So Terra Blast lands. It hits pretty hard. So I've got another Muddy Water. This time it actually lands, and of course Magmortar is going to live that and get another Terra Blast off here. So that is going to be the end of the Kingdra due to my miss before on Scummy Water. So my last Pokemon on my team is going to be Walking Wake, and this Pokemon has got, I didn't actually tell you what my set was. This was max speed and max attack, Jolly Nature. And it's pretty quick. I know they're not Choice Scarf, so we're going to actually finish them off with a Body Slam and squash that Magmortar. So there you go. That is the 3rd battle. Magmortar actually managed to get quite a few Pokemon down there in the end. I kind of got a bit of bad kind of luck there too. Let's get on to battle number 4 here. This is a battle against the homie Prince Vegeta, and we've got a theme team here as well. You might be able to guess it. So the first Pokemon is going to be Hisuian Typhlosion. So it's got Frisk. Obviously, you can see on my King's Rock. This isn't really what you call a great matchup, but the reason I led with this, I read with this Pokemon for a good reason, right? I definitely led with it. So we've got a substitute here. So the Typhlosion is going to throw that sub up, trying to get that dub. Now, I've got Dark Pulse. I thought I'll just go for that because at least it is super effective. Now, a couple of these battles too. The first few, I haven't. So I think I might have mentioned this already. I'm getting a hopefully a new computer kind of in the next month or 2. So there might be a little bit of stuttering and stuff like that. It's just my computer getting very old. So hopefully in the next month or 2 we'll be getting that. So if you see any like little visual glitches, that's what it is. So anyway, we have that Dark Pulse there taking out the Typhlosion, which is kind of nice. And now the next one we got here is it's another one. So we've got a full team of Typhlosion Hisuian. Now, I know these are going to have Fire-type moves, and this is a Temper Flare set, and that actually does a fair bit of damage. It's interesting it actually gets that. I guess it makes sense. It's a Fire-type, right? So some good damage there with a Dark Pulse, and now we've got a Berry. So it's a Citrus Berry Typhlosion Hisuian. So it's obviously going to go for Temper Flare again. And the other one was pretty cool because it was a curse set. I quite like that. Now, I managed to live on 1 health, which is kind of cool, but it doesn't really matter because I know I'm going to faint this turn, anyway. So that's the reason why I live with Kingambit, because I thought, well, this Pokemon's going to be really useless against a team of, 6 of these Pokemon, right? All being Fire types. Next Pokemon choice is going to be Slaking. I am a normal type Pokemon. This is pretty fast too. I don't have a lot to hit it with though, but I thought I might try my luck at Metronome. But first I thought, let's see if we can slow this down. Unfortunately, this Typhlosion has got Protect. So that's a very, very big counter for Slaking, because simply they can just use Protect on my attacking turns, and then I've got Truant on the other turn, so I'm not going to do anything. So I have to bring that back in. I've got to get rid of this Typhlosion before I can bring that Slaking back in. Basically. So going to Slowking Galar now, I might be able to get a Trick Room up depending on the damage that it does, and it does pretty good damage there for a physical set. So I thought, well, I've got Water Pulse, I could go for that, or I could set up Trick Room and get the, the speed advantage here. This is going to have Stomping Tantrum, and it's going to have Temper Flare, which is a pretty cool set, actually. So Water Pulse does some good damage on the Typhlosion, and I actually managed to get myself a nice little confusion there. I didn't get too many confusions with Water Pulse, but actually a few times in this video I did. That were literally the only times that I actually managed to get it. So here comes Stomping Tantrum again. He didn't hit itself a confusion, which is fine. I still had a plan anyway. So that's in a Slowking. Maybe I could have set up the Trick Room there, but it could have hit itself a confusion. You never know what's going to happen. So bringing the Slowking now, I know what sort of set this is. It's a physical set. I sort of sussed it out. I've got Trick Room. I've got Belly Drum. I've got a pretty good sort of, setting here to try and get this going. So I've got the Trick Room going here. Now, Typhlosion is going to go for a Rock Slide. So I see what sort of set it is. It's a flinching set. And, if Rock Slide manages to miss or something like that, they can go for a powerful, double base power, stomping tantrum, or temper flare. So a pretty cool set there. So I've got liquidation, I've got belly drum. I thought maybe I could get the belly drum off there. I've got fling as well. I've got quite a few options here. I also don't want to waste my trick room either. So I decided just to feint this thing just in case something went wrong and they swapped it out, or I don't know. I didn't want to take any risk. I just wanted to get rid of that. I thought, since I've got the type advantage here, I probably don't even need belly drum to do like lots of damage. I mean, I know the Slowking doesn't really have an amazing attack stat, but it's got like 75 base, so it's not too bad. So I went for Kingdra here in case there was any focus sash sets. I thought if I can get the flinch there and then follow it up with liquidation, that's going to be enough, to take them out. So that was pretty good on this Typhlosion here, but it was only a matter of time before their Trick Room had wore off, and then my entire team would virtually probably get outspared here. This Slowking, if you're curious, was max health and max attack, brave nature, 0 IVs, own temper as the ability. So, we're not worried about any sort of intimidation or confusion and stuff like that. So I actually got some pretty good damage there, and this was a weakness policy Typhlosion. So I was like, of course that lived, and of course that has that. So I guess in hindsight, if I went for belly drum, maybe I could have, I definitely would have one-shot it. And then I got a weakness policy Infernal Praetor. So there's no way I'm living that attack at all. No way at all. So the Trick Room is going to wear off. Now the coast is clear to bring in Slaking. This is, as you know, it's quite a fast Pokemon, Slaking. And, as is Typhlosion, I thought, well, I can't hit it at all. Let's go for Thunder Wave, right? I went first, which is really, really cool. So they may have modest on this thing. I'm not 100% sure, but I paralyzed the Typhlosion. They managed to get the Flamethrower off. With a weakness policy, it's going to be way too much for Slaking. Slaking's got good overall bulk, health and defense, but its special defense isn't really all. It's not really up to snuff compared to the other ones. A 65 base defense versus 100 base defense and 150 base health, So we're going to bring in the Kingdra. I've got Muddy Water. I can finish it off with anything. I thought, well, I could go for Rain Dance here. That could be good, and then I could double my speed. But if I go for Rain Dance and this thing hits me with a really powerful, like a weakness policy move, it might drop me, right? I don't know. So I went for Dragon Breath there just to take it out. Just in case. I know I've got max health, but I was worried about that weakness policy. So next Pokemon, of course, is Typhlosion. It's going to see my King's Rock. It's probably, I guess it's pretty obvious what item I've got on all of them now. I've got Muddy Water and Rain Dance. Muddy Water's still going to do some good damage. And now the Typhlosion is going to go for a Confuse Ray. So of course, I have to, I've got to roll that, get through the confusion and then not miss Muddy Water. I mean, Muddy Water isn't that bad, but I found at times it can be a bit shaky, right? I sort of did it. It's funny, I did it to drop the opponents, actually. So this set is a real scummy set. It's like a body slam to try and paralyze me, and it's also got a combination of Confuse Ray as well. So I actually managed to hit myself twice there in confusion, which kind of sucks. And this was getting all kinds of attacks off me. I finally snap out a confusion there. I thought, I hope I don't miss Muddy Water on the first go. And Muddy Water does just under half. So this has got some kind of bulk to it, I imagine. I don't really, maybe max health. So anyway, here comes the Confuse Ray. And Confuse Ray is going to confuse me again. I know that surprises all of you. So I'm hoping this time I don't hit myself 2 times the confusion. And hopefully I can get maybe I could go for Dragon Breath and then Muddy Water to finish it off, right? Or finish it with Dragon Breath. So I got another one off and it lived on 1 health. It was very, very close. And then I got another accuracy drop too, which is cool. That's one of the other benefits of having this move here, right? So I've got Dragon Breath and I'm going to finish it off there. Here comes another Body Slam. And Body Slam finally paralyzes me. So I kind of guess it would eventually happen. I think they use about 3 of them against me. So, usually within about 3 or 4, you typically get paralyzed. That's how the luck goes. So we're going to get, of course, we're going to Dragon Breath crit there right at the end when it doesn't even matter. So now Kingdra is paralyzed and it's not in a very good spot here. So the last Pokemon of the team, I know really surprised you, is Typhlosion, and they actually haven't Terrored yet. So I thought, well, I could go for Stellar Muddy Water, but I don't know if that would be a waste. I might get paralyzed the first turn and be, completely useless. So now they're going to go for a Shadow Ball here. I have no way to determine sort of what set that is outside of the special one. I figured it would drop me from there anyway, being stabbed. So all right, I don't know what their item is at the moment. I figured it's a special set. So I thought I'd say I might outspeed them because I'm running Jolly, but I don't know what their Terra is going to be. It might be Terra Grass. If I go for Stellar Liquidation right now, that could be a bad play. if I go for a Dragon Dance now, I can boost my attack by +1 and my speed in case I do get outsped, if it is Choice Scarf or something like that. And then I can go for a Stellar Dragon Claw if it is like a type that's, you know, going to be resistant to water. So I thought that'd be the best play here at the moment. And, you know, I could even get a flinch as well. You never know. So it could be multiple things. It might be, it could be Ghost. It could be Fire. I doubt it's going to be, I was sort of doubting that it'll be Fire. I thought it might be Grass or something like that too. So that's like another option. So we've got Stellar as well. So both of them were Stellar. So it's quite funny. Both of these Pokemon had a crown on them. So it's very, very appropriate for this team. So I managed to outspeed here with the Dragon Dance. I was like, okay, that's good. That's fine. I should definitely take them out in the next turn with a Liquidation. Now they're going to go for a Stellar Shadow Ball. Like, oh, this will do a lot of damage, but I should be able to, should just be able to live this one. And it drops me a one-shot. So it turned out the Typhlosion was a Choice Spec set. So Choice Spec Stab was Stellar. That was doing a heap of damage, right? That could have even been Modest Nature as well. Anyway, close battle, really cool team there. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Let's get on to battle number 5. Now, this is a battle against Hunt, and this was actually a very interesting battle because, you know, things happen. So, first Pokemon is going to be Deoxys called Pickle. This is a pickle-free video. Well, it was a pickle-free video. Now, fun fact, this is actually a Deoxys I gave away many years back there. I'm not sure if you've seen the video before, but I have the actual, I've got a couple of the actual legitimate Aurora ticket distribution carts from back in the day, and I actually, I got the ticket, and I did a stream on actually finding the shiny Deoxys, and then I gave a lot of them away and stuff like that. So that video is actually on YouTube if you want to watch me find. It's pretty funny actually. There's a bit of sold at the start, which I know you'll appreciate. So anyway, this is the one I gave away all that time, and now it's being used against me. So I went for Steel Beam, which, you know, isn't really a powerful attack, especially against a Raikou, which is a Howling Raikou with Throat Spray. Interesting. So I'm going for Dark Pulse. I'm sort of chipping away, not doing a lot of damage to it. I've got Dark Pulse as my best move here. I was like, you know what? I'm going to feint this in case it starts standing up against me. It used Supercell Slam, which didn't feint due to Kingambit's overall bulk, max health, and nice base defense, and I feinted myself. I did that because I didn't want to allow the Raikou to keep setting up Howls for like another 2 turns. So that's a pretty good result. You know, Kingambit doesn't normally do too much on the special side. It's more surprise. So bringing in Slaking, I'm going to get outsped here. It doesn't do too much to me. Furious Wipes, thank goodness, does not miss. So that is the end of the Raikou there. So we've got Deoxys as the next Pokemon. I thought this is... Deoxys D is very bulky. What's your favorite Deoxys type? If you had to pick one out of all, if you're still watching them, what's your favorite one? My favorite one, I like attack form. That's my favorite. Then I like the defensive form. I say they're my 2 ones. I always like Deoxys. A really cool Pokemon, right? I actually had a good comment here on my Deoxys moveset guide. This is really cool. You should listen to it. So I agree with this. Like, tell me what you think, right? For each Deoxys form, right, I reckon they should all have a different ability, you know, instead of just having pressure. I think it'd be really cool, like an ability based around, you know, the defensive form, maybe getting a defense boost, the attack one getting an attack boost, you know, the speed one getting a speed boost. What do you think? I think that'd be really cool. You know, they are really, you know, interesting Pokemon too. So I think that would make their forms a little bit more unique as well as the stats and appearance. So let me know what you think about that. Anyway, so we got a Zarude coming in. You don't get to see Zarude very often. Now, this Zarude was a real pain in the backside. I have to admit that. It was really annoying. So I'm going to see if I can paralyze this. But the unfortunate thing is, it stole my Kingdra, right? So I'm like, oh no, it's going to be, the flinching might get used against me, right? So I'm going here, I'm trying to get some paralyze here. I'm trying to get some Action Drop. So this clearly has, you know, bulk investment in. I'm not really doing a lot of, not that I really thought I'd do much anyway, but it's not really doing a lot to it. It's definitely not like a sweeping set, I can tell by the damage. So it's a bulky set and it's increasing its speed with Trailblaze. Plus, it's also got a King's Rock on top of that too. So I'm really trying to get a paralyze here. I'm trying everything I possibly can do. Zarude doesn't seem to be able to do, you know, much damage to me at all. It's only really got Trailblaze. And this Kingdra, as you can see, is pretty bulky. So I'm going for the paralyze and I finally get it. Like, finally, you know, I get on the Zarude. Now, the unfortunate bit here is Zarude has a signature move called Jungle Healing, right? I like to always use this joke when someone uses a healing move, you know, that grass healing move, the one we don't talk about, and that completely counters me. So basically it's like, it's very similar to Life Dew, right? So Kingdra's going to swap out there, and we're going to go into the next Pokemon, which is Slaking, right? So Slaking, I got to hit this thing really, really hard, right? But then it hit me really, really hard when it used Drain Punch. So like, this is going to be a pain in the ass to feint because it's got speed, it's got sustain, and it's also got healing too. And if I get paralyzed for a second, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. So unfortunately, it's going to fate me with a Drain Punch there. I didn't really want to swap any other Pokemon into it. So it's back to 3/4 health again, right? So Kingdra's not really going to do too much to it either, as we got to see, right? So I'm going to go to Slowking Gala. I thought, well, I can resist that. I can go for Sludge Bomb. That should at least be useful. And I can also Trick Room up because I can get the, you know, the speed advantage from that. So I thought, let's go for Sludge Bomb and see what happens. So it's going to go for Thief. Thief does a lot of damage to me. And Sludge Bomb hits it really hard and almost takes it out. Very, very close. I didn't get a poison there. So I thought, well, I'll set up the Trick Room now. I'm pretty sure I can take it out regardless. The Thief is doing heaps of damage. And Thief was nearly a 2-hit KO on my max health Slowking set. So I've got the Trick Room up, which is really cool. I can finish it off with Sludge Bomb, which is nice. Now, I was going to go for Water Pulse, but I was like, nah, I don't want to risk that at all because something, you know, something bad probably could happen or, you know, along those lines. I don't want this Pokemon to be alive still. So that's the end of Zygarde. Next Pokemon was Ho-Oh. Now, this also caused me a lot of problems too. This Zarude and Ho-Oh were like super, super painful. So I went for the Water Pulse here. I wasn't really expecting a lot of damage. And that was about as much as I expected, right? Then the Ho-Oh used Calm Mind. I'm like, oh no, this is very, very bad. So Ho-Oh's got, you know, if you haven't used it before or you've, you know, gone against it, Ho-Oh's got some nice natural bulk about it, right? And when you're using a low base power move against it, it makes it even worse. So I was like, let's go for Sludge Bomb. Let's see if I can get a poison. That's my next best thing. And then I had Gus. So Gus obviously is going to be a really like weak troll move, but just this thing being so bulky is going to be a real pain to try and feint it. So I thought, well, I've got my Belly Drum Slowking, right? That's going to be my only way to take this thing out. I have to sort of, you know, use that now and see what happens. So I've got Belly Drum ready to go. I've got Liquidation. Like, let's go Belly Drum. I think I can live a Gust easily, right? It's at +1. It's low base power. I've got the speed advantage. I should be fine. So now it's going to use Fire Spin. Now, Fire Spin isn't going to do a lot of damage, but it's going to get, you know, some extra damage at the end there. But it wasn't too bad, right? I had +6 in attack. I mean, Deoxys could swap in here, but it's going to take a lot of damage as well. So I wasn't thinking they'd probably swap it in. But I knew that if I took this thing out, you know, I probably would have to deal with it. So I thought, let's go for Stellar. And, you know, I changed my mind then. And I'm actually glad that I did because it had Giga Drains. Like, I'm in a very, very tough spot at the moment. What can I do? I've got this Kingdra, which is not going to do a lot of damage with Muddy Water. And I've got my Walking Wake too. But Walking Wake hits like a wet paper bag on the physical side. I deliberately did a physical set to try and nerf it. So I thought, maybe I can get some damage here at Kingdra with Muddy Water or maybe a Paralyzed on Dragon Breath. Or a Rain Dance up. Rain Dance might power it up, so that could be good. So here comes Gus, and I actually leave the Gus, which is pretty cool, and I managed to get the Rain Dance up. The only reason I leave Gus there because it was like low base power, right? So we got the Rain Dance going there. Ho-Oh's going to have some... It's back, look at that thing. It's back to full health, so that's very, very bad. So I've got Muddy Water to use in the rain, and that should do some alright damage against Ho. Then I can follow it up, right? So Muddy Water, yeah, it did alright damage, and I was hoping for an accuracy drop, but it never happened. But not that it matters. I sort of know what kind of set this is now. So there's Giga Drain, Gust, and Calm Mind. You know, things like that. And it's also got leftovers as well. So I've got my Walking Wake to use here, and I've got 4 turns of rain left. So I thought, I can get it. I need some Dragon Dances up here, but I need to get at least, like, for that Deoxys, I probably need 2 to even do some, you know, kind of damage to this thing, right? So I got a Speed Boost. Speed wasn't really a problem here. It was more like doing damage. So Gust doesn't do very much damage at all. I wasn't too concerned about Giga Drain. I knew that I could leave that all right as well. So I'm using the Liquidation here. I just want to get rid of this thing because it's so bulky. At +1 on the rain, it was enough to take it out, which is good. So I just had to get rid of that. I didn't want to take any more risks or anything. So the next Pokemon is going to be Pickle, and of course that's Deoxys. So I've got +1 at the moment. And with this, I thought I can leave any attack this does. It's going to be quite passive. Back in the day, actually, when I got this Deoxys, it had Seismic Toss as well, which is a really cool move you can get on it. And, you know, when it transferred, it had Seismic Toss. I gave it some other moves too, like all the cool... I think it was all the cool tutor moves I had on it. But unfortunately now, of course, when you swap the Pokemon in the game, they are removed for that game. So, of course, it's going to use Thunder Wave. Now, I actually really wasn't bothered by this too much. I thought, well, I've got good speed already. I've got a couple of Dragon Dances up. The Pokemon left aren't super duper fast here. If I can get enough Dragon Dances up, I might be okay if I get the right luck. It all depends, right? You know, about RNG and stuff like that. So, I've got another thing up, and now this is going to go for Agility. I'm like... Wait, what is this set? So it's got Thunder Wave and it's got Agility, which is interesting. So I'm going for more Dragon Dances up here. Deoxys is not going to, well, Deoxys D is not going to be able to outspeed me. And now I can see what it is. It's a flinching set. That's mean. So it's Thunder Wave and Zen Headbutt. I totally would not run a set like that myself. So I've got Stellar and I've got Liquidation here. I thought, well, I know Deoxys D very, very well. I know how insane its defenses are, so I wasn't even confident this was going to faint. Like, honestly, even with the Stellar boost, I was like, because I don't have Rain anymore. With Rain, I was confident, but with no Rain, I was like, I don't know about this. So I'm going for Liquidation here. Good damage, but it still lived. I knew that it would still live. It's so tanky. And here comes another Zen Headbutt, but it's not doing too much damage. The thing that really worried me now was the Paralyzer. Like, if I get Paralyzed, I'm dead, basically, to any Pokemon. So, I didn't get Paralyzed once in that whole matchup. So, that's really, really good. But, there's 2 more Pokemon left. So, I was like, I'm zooped up with a lot of Dragon Dance. Then we have a Walking Wake as well. So, I'm like, cool. I'll go for Dragon Dance here. Sorry, Dragon Claw. I got outsped and I got the Stellar Boost and I didn't get Paralyzed. Excellent. And that got dropped. Like, great. You know, the last Pokemon I can use Body Slam on, right? So I can use the Body Slam on this, right, and take it out. So this is the Iron Leaf. So I wanted to make use of my Stellar as much as possible, so I thought that'd be cool. So I've got plus, 2 or 3 in attack now, and I've got a Stellar Boost. This should be good to go. So I've got Body Slam, I've got the Stellar Boost still, as you can see there, and now we've got a Terra. What is this Terra going to be? I hope it's not something I hope it's not Ghost or something. And it turns out to be Psychic. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's going to be neutral. That's good. And I really wanted to use Body Slam, right? So here comes the Body Slam. It's not an overly bulky Pokemon. And guess what happened right there? It lived and it got a Paralyzed. Like, wait, this is insane. Could this actually get Paralyzed? And I get through everything, but it managed to get the Terra Blast off there and faint me. When I look back on the damage calculations afterwards, Liquidation actually does faint there, but this had some, I believe this had some bulk about it, and I was just surprised there, honestly, that I never got Paralyzed there, 4 or 5 turns in a row. But a crazy battle there. That's Zarude and Hoa, what a pain in the ass. Let's get on to the 6th and final battle here. We have a theme team here. This is against Father Bright. I wonder if you can see and guess what the theme team actually is. So the first Pokemon is going to be a Seviper. It is the year of the snake as well. I know a lot of you have asked if I'm going to do a theme on that. I have done a snake theme already, so I don't know if I'd do another one. I did one I'm pretty sure I did one kind of recently. I'd have to look back anyway. Off the top of my head, I believe I've done one in the last year or so. Someone who really knows, who's really watched a ton of my videos might know the last time I did one, but I believe it would be in the last year, I would say so. Anyway, so I went for a Steel Beam, and that worked out really well. And we got Swagger here now. So I missed that. I missed the Steel Beam, and I got Paralyzed. So I got Paralyzed with Glare, and I got a Swagger. So this Seviper is going to boost his attack with Mirror Herb. Mirror Herb is a really cool item. You can copy your opponent's boost there. A nice way to increase the Viper's attack outside of using something like Coil Run. So I went for Steel Beam, excellent damage there, and I fainted myself. So that's probably the best I could get out of that. I was pretty lucky I actually managed to attack there too, to be honest. So next Pokemon to bring is going to be Slaking. I thought, well, maybe Slaking could just finish this off. I've got Furious Swipes. Let's do that. Yeah, I can finish it off. So I went for Furious Swipes, and that's the end of the Seviper. So that's one Pokemon down. A solid start there. I thought it was a little bit shaky though with the Kingambit, but it paid off. So now we've got the Zangoose coming in. This could be a bit of a threat. So I thought, well, you've probably got a fighting move of some type, whether it's close combat. Is it a special meme set? Has it got Drain Punch? Has it got Focus Miss? I don't know. But I know it's going to have a fighting type move, right? I'm pretty sure. Now they're going to go for Curse. Like, okay, it's a physical set. Or it could be Terra Ghost Curse, you know, but probably a bulky physical set there. So it didn't have White Herb or anything. So I know that I can outspeed it. And I've also got Thunder Wave. So I thought, how about I Thunder Wave this first? And then the idea here of this set is if I Thunder Wave and they get paralyzed, I might get a free turn on the true end. So I can see it's got counter. So it's got Curse and counter. I'm like, what the heck? So this is an interesting set. Normally with counter, you want to do a lot of damage. But with Slaking, it's got a lot of attack. So I was thinking about this for a little bit. Do I go for the Drain Punch here? Do I risk it? They may get paralyzed as well and their counter won't work. Or do I try and go for Metronome or something like that on the next turn? So I decided to stay in, and then they got paralyzed. I'm like, of course it happened on the turn I was truanting, right? That's always the way. So I went for Drain Punch this turn. Great damage. I did 3/4 damage. I got all of my health back, and I got a flinch. That was the second flinch that I got in this entire video. Real talk. I got one on this on the Slowking with Sludge Bomb earlier, if you're watching, and then I got that, but. It also had close combat as well, and then it critted me. I was like, what the heck? So there you go. Things escalated. But I didn't really have any other flinches. Out of all the battles that I did, seriously, I had no other flinches at all. So we're going to bring in my next Pokemon, which is Kingdra. So Kingdra, as you know, it's got Muddy Water, it's got Dragon Breath. I was like, I don't know whether Dragon Breath is actually going to take this out. It might get close, but I thought, how about we use Rain Dance first, get my speed up, and I might be able to, that might benefit me down the track. Now they're going to go for close combat again, and obviously they get another crit. So I'm like, okay, that at +1, that's doing a lot of damage there. So they might have, I might have scope lenses on him. So I went for Muddy Water, and Muddy Water, of course, does its great job at missing, and then I went for close combat and kill me. Actually, the first Muddy Water would have killed them anyway due to the close combat drop. But, it missed anyway, so there you go. So Kingdra, a lot of the time, like, it did some good stuff, but a lot of the battles, it just threw the battle, right? It didn't do anything. So we're going to go to Slowking, and we're going to see if we can get a belly drum going. At the moment, I'm getting spanked. So I've got Trick Room. I thought, well, it's got a Curse and a Paralyze. Should I do that? Should I really do that? I know that it's got, I know that it might still be able to outspeed me, but maybe that will be a bad idea. But I decided to set it up anyway. I thought, well, I should be able to get past Zangoose, and I should be able to get belly drum up, right? So I've got that going. I've got the risk here of going for belly drum or just finishing off with a liquidation. I really did think about this for a bit. I was like, let's go for belly drum. I'm way behind. I need to take a few Pokemon out. What are they going to do? Go for close combat or counter? It's going to do nothing. So they're going to go for a power triple. I see. And I just lived that. Very, very close. I was pretty lucky too because that didn't have a lot of boost. That only had the Curse boost and the defensive boost too. So that was only at like a weak base. Was that 20? It starts off at 20 base power and each boost was 20. So that was at 60 base power there and not stab. So another Raikou. So in comes Raikou. I'm like, all right, we'll go for Fling here. And then a quick attack. I'm like, oh, that sucks. So that's the end of Slowking. So I'm like, bugger, that sucks, right? I've got to get around this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my Slowking Galar here, right? Now this Slowking Galar can go for Sludge Bomb, or I could just go for Nasty Plot and try and get some damage up here. I was actually trying to think what I'm going to do here as well. My computer's also messing up a little bit here too. I do apologize for that. Should be from now. I've sort of done a quick fix for that, not to happen anymore. So anyway, I'm gonna go for the Sludge Bomb here. Here comes Scary Face. I'm like, what the heck is this set? Quick attack and Scary Face. Only on PIMPNITE channel. So it's gonna drop my speed, which I mean it will help in Trick Room, but outside of that probably not. Then it went for Swift. I'm like, oh, this must be something to do with the moveset, right? This must be something to do with the theme team. Like, have you guys guessed what the theme team is? I didn't really know, right? So here comes another Quick Attack. Quick Attack is probably doing around the same as what Swift is. And I thought, well, this is going to be a great opportunity to set up like a bunch of nasty plots here and try and get back into this game. I've got Stellar, I've got Water Pulse, I've got Sludge Bomb, plus for a Sludge Bomb. Obviously, Raikou's not going to live that one. So that is the third Pokemon down. Now, the next Pokemon to come out against my Slowking is going to be Magikarp. So like, all right, Magikarp probably has Focus Sash and it probably has Flower, right? That's typically the only thing you can really do on Magikarp since they, removed all of its, they removed all of its moves. Like, you got Hydro Pump in Sword and Shield, which is really cool, and then they removed it, which was, like, dumb. And then it had Bounce as well, which, you got that from the Pokewalker back in the day. So, I don't know why they got rid of its move. Maybe they seen a few PIMPNITE's Magikarp sweeps and they got a little bit scared or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's the end of Magikarp. Next Pokemon to come in is going to be Rayquaza. So the shiny Rayquaza event. I think I've seen so many of these online, right? So now the Rayquaza is going to go for a bulk up. Like, oh, okay. That's a physical set, and it's going to make it more bulky. So plus for our Sludge Bomb. That critted as well. That did a lot of damage. I think Rayquaza may have badly lived that, but that was doing a lot of damage regardless. So that's the end of the Rayquaza. Last Pokemon is Ichiban, and that is Gyarados. So it's going to drop my attack. I've got Sludge Bombs up, and I thought, well, I'll just go for that again. And now we're going to have a Terra. So I was wondering what Terra this would actually be. I'm like, this would be bad if it was Steel or something. And then it was Stellar. So this is another, it was cool coming across some of the opponents that had Stellar as well, because it also had a crown. So it's going to be Hyper Beam, Stellar Hyper Beam, which was really, really cool. And obviously being on that amount of health, I actually still managed to live it, And Gyarados managed to live it as well. So I thought, let's be a smart ass here. Let's go for Stellar Water Pulse Disrespect Kill. I've got +4 up in special attack. I know it's going to resist that, but I want to finish him off with the Water Pulse. It'll be super funny, right? So I'm going for the Stellar. I've got my crown on. I've got all the types floating around my head. Gyarados has to recharge this turn, and here comes the Mighty Water Pulse at +4. Disrespect. I was going for it, and Gyarados lived on 1 health. I'm like, oh no, it lived. This is bad, right? But it came to worse because Gyarados had Flail. I'm like, oh no. Oh, that's a flail. I can't believe they had Flail on that set and it rolled on 1 health. So I guess my trolling backfired there. Next Pokemon is going to be Wag. And this thing is fast. And I was like, I should be able to outspeed this and finish it off with a Body Slam or Liquidation anyway. I learned my lesson. And that's pretty much it. That's the end of the King team, everyone. I really hope you enjoy it. If you did, please like the video. Drop a comment for me below there. Leave a team suggestion below and I'll catch you next time, everyone. Peace out. Keep your crowns on.